This week's video will be based on the social factors in talent development while bringing in biological factors too. There are a variety of social factors in sport, however the starting point for this video is going to be schools and how they impact talent development. First of all, we will start with a statistic, and that is that 7% of all the UK population attend private schools, which means that the majority of individuals attend public schools. However, from this, 37% of the British medal winners at London 2012 attended private schools. This shows that 1 in 3 people who won medals at the 2012 Olympics attended private schools, so surely they must be doing something right, because only 7% of people go to private schools. One reason could be because the sports that they are being offered are specialist sports. So if we take rowing as an example, public schools cannot afford this because of the lack of money they get, whereas private schools receive money for tuition fees, which helps them to offer these type of sports. In other words, they can afford to. This shows how important money is in terms of providing the best possible chance for a kid to succeed. Even with saying this, players with little family income can make it as a professional. Again, Rooney is an example, so it is possible, but very unlikely. A kid's family has money, and they are more than likely going to benefit from this, so they can get the best equipment and facilities to help them make it and become a professional. Essentially, money can help to get a player from being gifted to talented if we bring in Gagnet's model of giftedness. As you can see here, chance or luck is a major catalyst, and being born into a wealthy family is luck. You cannot choose the parents you have, so it is lucky if you have a wealthy family. However, Dr. Dortz, a Utah Uni professor and former pro player, states that as sports spending goes up, it increases the likelihood either that the child will feel pressure or that the parent will exert it. This shows how money can affect the performer as a result of technically being lucky. This links to how important the family are in terms of development. Coate et al. Stated in 2015 that family members are known to be highly influential in the development of sports exercise. So if we take Peter and Kasper Schmeichel for example, Peter has had a huge influence on Kasper. He obviously looked up to his dad as a role model. A similar example is Chris Eubank and his son Eubank Jr. Again, his dad used to be a boxer, which will obviously influence his son's decision to become a boxer. Similarly again, Serena and Venus Williams have been obviously influenced by their dad, who's also their coach. If each of these examples didn't have a parental influence, then they may not be the athlete they are today. In 2006, Brackenbridge discussed a model regarding the parent's optimum zone in relation to involvement with kids' sports. If we look at the bottom of the model, there is under-involved, moderately involved, and finally over-involved categories. If we start with under-involved, an example of this would be a parent who potentially drops their child off at the match and then leaves, or someone with no interest in the sport. On the other extreme is an over-involved parent, and they would constantly be shouting, whether this be at the coach or kids or anyone for that matter. The happy medium would be a moderately involved parent who gets involved when they need to, never too much and also never too little. The under-involved parent and the over-involved parents are both no-go zones, meaning that the parent should be the happy medium, as mentioned, between the two. Another family member that can have an impact is siblings. In 1999, Coate stated that older siblings had a positive influence on the work ethics of child athletes. For example, Phil and Gary Neville are both professional footballers, therefore they have always wanted to better each other, especially when they both played for Manchester United. Similarly, Serena and Venus Williams both compete to be the best women's tennis player, and often end up playing against each other in tournaments. A final example is Andy and Jamie Murray, who both play tennis. Andy used to be the former number 1 in the world, and Jamie is the former number 1 doubles in the world, which shows that all of the athletes mentioned competed with their siblings to better themselves. The final key factor that we mentioned is the biological factors. An example to explain this are Kenyan runners. In 2011, 258 Kenyans ran a sub 2.15 marathon, whereas Great Britain only had one. But Great Britain had twice the population, so why is this? Well, obviously there is a contributing factor to the Kenyan success, but what is it? Well, it's their biology. Marcus stated in 2014 that there is in fact no running gene as such, but found that Kenyan kids did have high VO2 maxes, most likely to be due to the fact that they're very active and living at a high altitude. However, on the contrast, another study by Fisher in 2012 discovered that Kenyans actually had differences in BMI and bone structure. With this, the Kenyans also had less mass for their height, longer legs, shorter torsos, and finally more slender limbs. These factors are biological and therefore is something that makes the Kenyans more efficient runners, notably over the long distances. This shows that biological factors can play a huge part in talent and its development.